Okay, so we got about 50% of the way there. Don't quite know why it's absolutely refusing to talk to my old phone. Huh. That's exciting, isn't it? Anyway, well, since we seem to be alive, we will switch over and we will dive in, shall we? Assuming you still have sound. Okay. Is it still working? I don't know. Good. Okay, well, I'm going to just do a little bit more setup because handily this has decided not to do what I was gonna do. Okay, well, never mind. We'll switch back to this. Since OBS seems to have suddenly decided that it doesn't want to talk to one of my phones, specifically this one, which is not surprising because no one ever wants to talk to my Google phone. Although we will take the opportunity to restart it again, which I had to do at midnight last night when it decided to randomly stop charging and then alarm at me that it wasn't charging. Anyway, so I have the fun box, which I'm going to open in a second. I also have some little toys. So apparently the hard disk in it is dead. It is the version with a hard disk. It should have either 2 or 4 meg of RAM. It's not entirely clear which one it has. But it should be one of them. It's died again. It has. Well, that's very irritating. Not sure what to do. Oh, there we go. Okay, so it only brings it to life after you switch to it, which is kind of irritating. Alright, you can tell it's been a while since I've done some streaming. I think the last thing I streamed was the unboxing of the Fido e-bike, which is still around. So, one of the things that I picked up is this exciting object, which is an IDE to SD card device, because picking up a tiny hard disk is probably going to be hard, although I don't know whether this will work, so that'll be interesting to see whether it will work. I just showed that to a camera that's not on, didn't I? Epic, I'm doing so well. So that is this, which is a little tiny board that will hopefully replace the dead IDE drive in it. Alright. Okay. So, we'll pop it back onto the other camera. There will be a brief pause while my camera sorts itself out, because apparently it takes a few seconds while it's sorting out the streaming, which is unexpected. Didn't know it did that. Okay, so the other things that I've picked up in preparation for this little project are a floppy disk drive. Not because I don't have a floppy disk drive, but because my only floppy disk drive now is on my RISC PC, I think. I think that's the only thing I've got with a RISC PC, with a floppy disk drive. I have no idea whether anything will be happy writing Acorn format floppies, because Acorn format floppies are different to PC format floppies. You get 1.6 meg per disk, which was always nice, and a little bit more space. So we got that toy. We also have this big box, which you have to love buying things from Acorn companies. So this is from 4D or CJE Micros, and I don't know if you can see it. If I bring it up here, hopefully I've blanked out enough of my address here. But it's printed on a dot matrix printer, which I love. And it also has a lot of stamps on it. But interestingly, only like 57p worth of stamps. I don't really understand how it got here. So this contains a spare screen, which I may or may not unbox in a second. We'll see. We'll see how long the stream holds out, shall we? So in this box, I actually haven't seen this yet, I'd like to say. I have not seen this yet. Shall I see if I can add me to this? So that is a media source. Oh, no, it's not. Go on. We're going to do something wildly exciting in the, I would say in the background, but this is no longer in the background since it had some issues. Video capture, that's it. I'm going to add existing laptop camera to the corner of the wrong one. That's got two of me. That's excellent. Delete that. Yeah, let's just adjust old phone to have the laptop camera in the background. Source. I see. That's probably my fault then. I wonder if I can make that better while we're here. Is this an exciting view of the top of my head? It's very thrilling, isn't it? Well, it's good you get to see me staring at this and try and remember. Oh, now I've deleted the scene that I wanted. Oh, that's hilarious. Sorry about this. This is me being an idiot, which is amazing. It's a very exciting stream of me being an idiot. Thanks. Oh, I thought I had that. Okay, so I'm going to transition back to this for a moment so I can fix the other problem. How about that? That sounds amazing. Doesn't it sound amazing? No. Okay. Right. That up there. Okay, that's done. And we'll see. We're just gonna do a little test run of adding me and my new phone, and we'll see if that works. Alright, let's try this. We're gonna see if my new phone is actually gonna work, because that would be nice. I'll give it a moment while it spools up and does nothing. Yes, sort of. Sort of. Okay, we will transition back to that. I don't know why the new phone's image is quite small. Hi Dan, sorry, we are in progress, we hope. It's just being a little tricky. Okay, no. You know what? We're just going to have the ones that work, and we're going to ignore the fact that my brand new Google phone doesn't actually do anything useful, which is basically no change from anything else there. All right, so let's see if this comes back up. I'm going to have a sip of tea because I've been waiting a while for it. There we go. We have the technology of sorts. So, oh, incidentally, arm mug has to be an arm mug. All right, so let's see what's hiding in the box. I'm going to move the box so it's more. Let's shove things over a bit. There we go. So you can see. I would move it this way, but there's a ancient MacBook here. It's already been repaired a few times. So I actually haven't seen this. So I opened the box at Christmas just to make sure that what was in the box was what was meant to be in the box, because I had someone at work who had something arrive that definitely was not what was meant to be in the box. But the guy who sent it to me is absolutely lovely. A lot of people, when you say that you live in the US and you're trying to buy something from Britain and they haven't explicitly said they live in the US, they don't even bother to answer you. And with this, I actually debated whether I should send it to my mum, because I'm going back to England for her 80th birthday. And I was like, no, I can send it there and then pick it up. But I wanted it now. And the other thing about this is it may or may not power on today. So don't get your hopes up too much. That's actually why I had this, was so that I could point this at the screen. But this is being a large, useless brick again. So the day that he was going to send this to me, he called, and we are unboxing an Acorn A4 laptop. This is the only laptop that Acorn ever made. Oh, that's what I was going to say before I got technologied out. So Acorn, while they were quite big at the time, they were never really big enough to make laptops, because laptops you have to design the case, and the lifespan of a laptop case is quite short, and so they tried buying. Apparently, they looked at buying off-the-shelf cases for something else, and then designing things to fit them. Whenever they got to the stage of like, we realise it's ready. You know, we prototyped something that might go in a case. That case would be done, and then they'd be like, "Oh well, this isn't. We have to redesign it to go into a new case. It's not going to work." But for a while, Acorn was largely owned by Olivetti, and Olivetti made a laptop, and that meant that Acorn could leverage that and build a laptop. So this is the only Acorn laptop that ever made it to market, and they were horrendously expensive, and also remarkably powerful for the time. But they also require a mouse. It doesn't even have like the little tracking nubbin nipple thing. It just, you use the keyboard. And of course, Acorn being Acorn, this is a Sun mouse, not a PC-compatible mouse, because PC-compatible mice are garbage, but that's what we use now. So, well, actually we use USB now, but for a long time, you had to use PC-compatible mice. All right, so it's a box. We've got a box in a box. That's very exciting. It's like Pass the Parcel, isn't it? So let's see if we can unwrap this a bit more. So yes, this is very tangentially Transport Evolved related, because this will probably pop up at some point in the background when we're doing a bit to camera. But really, this is because 6 years ago, 7 years ago, I started writing a novel. And I did it for NaNoWriMo, which is National Novel Writing Month, I think, although it's now international. And I started, and I've written loads of things in the past, you know, because I write scripts and I blog, and so occasionally I've been struck by the idea of writing a story, and I'd write little bits of stories. And then I'd come back a few months later, and I'd be like, no, this is garbage, throw it away, burn it, tell no one you wrote it. And this one I kind of kept coming back to, and I've kept coming back to it year after year and just dinking with it and writing a little bit more. But I have the attention span of a gnat, so I start writing and then I'm like, oh, I want to check something. And then having gone away to check something, I never come back. So one of the things that I didn't know, but I suspected, which is quite exciting, is this actually comes in an official, proper Acorn A4 laptop bag. So it has the Acorn logo on it, and it's actually in remarkably good condition for its age. So this just had photos of the laptop, and it was working, but the day that he tried to send it to me, it died, which meant that when he sent it, he basically said, I can't, in good conscience, send this to you, it's dead. It sometimes powers up, but it doesn't always, and it was working perfectly. So we came to a deal on the price about a dead laptop. So this is notionally possibly dead. He did say it had a replacement nickel-cadmium battery at some point not too long ago, and it was holding a charge. So this is pretty grubby and needs a clean, but it is a 1.8 amp hour, 14.4 volt nickel-cadmium battery. I don't know if CJE still replace these. They used to. They used to do replacement ones. And, oh, thankfully, oh my god, he sent it with a USA adapter. That's very sweet. It's probably better than mine. These are I have these around the house. I actually stole this off my bedside table because my bedside light is still a British plug. These are garbage. Don't buy these. Apart from being a death trap because they have no shutters on the pins, and you just shove whatever you want in. They also work really badly. But I did plan ahead, and I do have a US cable, so we won't use that today. But that is very sweet of him to send it. So we have the power unit, and this one is indeed the 100 to 240 volt, so it should work. And interestingly, I've seen pictures of these. So I've seen one of these in the past. I've seen one because my computer teacher, Mrs. Morgan, had one, and I was very jealous. Although I had an Archimedes A440, which was better than I think any of the Archimedes that we had at school, apart from the one that they used for the system administrator. So yes, I don't know if that got answered in time, but yes, this is a multi-voltage one, incredibly. Unlike most Acorn kit, which is 240 volt or 220 and 50 hertz, this is a 60 hertz capable. Does 47 to 63 hertz at 0.8 of an amp, 100 to 240 volts, and it outputs 21 volts DC at 720 milliamps, with a separate battery charge output of 65 to 340 milliamps. Yes, Rainy Day Records. Awesome people. If you ever need records, they will send them to you, and they've been in business forever, and they are so lovely. And they get me stuff from England, and because I still listen to Six Music. So on this is a very disturbing little serial cable. So the power supply on this is connected via what looks like a serial cable. Do not plug serial devices into the power supply, or do not plug this into serial devices, it will probably be bad. Okay, so we've got that. Bag's a little stringy, so we might need to do a little bit of stuff to stop it escaping. Alright, it is time for the main event. Enough of me talking and playing with technology that is broken. Okay, come to the mouse. So, the computer does sometimes start up and work. Don't know why it's unreliable though. The broken knob potentiometer. So, also, on the day that he went to send it, the knob that controls the brightness also just fell off. Apparently the external monitor and keyboard sockets both work. You may need to set the monitor configuration to VGA to make a modern monitor work, which is true, you might. That's an interesting point. I wasn't sure whether these came with the RGB output, or whether they came with a modern VGA output, but it seems like they come with VGA output, so let's see. So before we get too excited, so it has its lovely Acorn logo, and do you? That's very cool. Reflect the sun. That is very cool. I'm very glad. The people who work there always seem very happy, and I always think that if people genuinely seem happy and genuinely interested, that's always a good sign for where they're working. So he has very kindly sent me a floppy disk, which is good because while I have plenty of them, they're all up in the attic and in storage. It's a very nice little padded bag, actually. Oh, and it has. So I think that's the knob for the top of the knob for the brightness and contrast. And then there's this, which I think is probably the IDE cable for the hard disk. Now I don't know if this was the high spec model, which I think came with 4 meg of RAM. I have a spec sheet here. It might have 4 meg or 2, I think, yes. So memory 2 megabytes of RAM or 4 megabytes of RAM. And it has 24 megahertz ARM3 in it, with luck. No, it has a 24 megahertz ARM3. Now, somewhere on here, so this here, just here, is the battery condition display. Wow, this has been well used. Oh, what's the serial number? 2111, 2111, and it's revision B. Alright, so let's slot the battery in. Latches? That's latched. Okay. So nothing on the battery status indicator. All right, let's have a quick look around the case because I've only seen one of these in when I was at school. I haven't seen one since. So you've got on the back monitor display, got the power supply and parallel printer port and a reset button. And a really nice metal case. This thing is not light. Terrifying, but not light. On this end, what have we got? So we've got a little flap here that survived remarkably well, which has an actual serial port, not a disturbing power one. You've got the sun mouse connector, and that looks like the Acorn keyboard connector, so this won't take a PC keyboard. I'll have to dig out an Archimedes keyboard. I think the RISC PC, yeah, the RISC PC has an ARC-type keyboard, so I've got one of those. And then we have sound. All of that, I guess, is controlled by the VIDC. I assume this has a pretty similar VIDC to the Archimedes. And then inside, yes, that is filthy, isn't it? And we've got some corrosion, which I would show you were this working. But what I will do, because I'm nice like that, is I'll lift it up so you can see. So that is the broken contrast control, which I have the knob there. And we're going to see if it will power up. I'm not sure if it's a good idea to power it up off the battery, but we'll try. Now, being an Acorn, the fact it has a dead hard disk is not actually a huge impediment because all of its operating system is stored on ROMs. You can put patches on the hard disk, and I used to run an incredible, terrifying number of patches, so I had long file names. And at one point I had preemptive multitasking, although that was a bit scary. It was a bit of a hairy object, because it's RISC-OS is cooperative multitasking, not preemptive. So there are benefits and there are not so much benefits with that. Okay, so we have light. Acorn ADFS, RISC-OS 3. All right, so let's see if I can position this so you can see. All right. What would have been wise? Oh, battery status unknown. All right, I'm going to lower you down. Calm down. Amazing. Right. Okay, so incredibly, this is running off the battery. Probably shouldn't do that for too long because I doubt it'll survive very long. What one is it? 12, F12. F12 will get me to basic because I did not plug in the mouse. Alright. And I can't instantly remember how to shut it down, but since we have no hard disk, let's just turn it off for a second. This here is not an original Acorn mouse. This is a cheap knockoff. Oh, very sad indeed. Alright, this machine is absolutely filthy. It's obviously been in storage for a very long time, and the covering on it is not great. And I probably shouldn't turn it on for too long because I would imagine that there is a dead CMOS battery in there that needs to be replaced. So I'll have to strip it a little bit. But we'll try once more. We'll pop this. I'm slightly terrified, but we'll find out what's on the floppy disk. Alright. And my instant mouse mat. Okay. We could have used this as an AMA, but we didn't. So, alright. So, the reason I got the screen is that he did say this part of the screen has died. There's a very disconcerting fizzing noise, which I'm not sure about. Alright, so, is the mouse pointer working? I do not see a mouse pointer. Oh, there we go. Yes, I do. Yes, I do, and it is. Alright. Okay, I need to just tilt it a little bit. Let me get you so that you can see it a bit better. It is in astonishingly good condition, isn't it? I am very, very pleased. It obviously needs quite a lot of work. And a bit of cuddling, such as the nature of such things. Alright. Let's move you around so you're not pointing. No, I can't quite get enough of an angle on that, so you're going to have to look down at it. I tried, because I love you. Right, let's see. Ooh. Oh, yeah, so something. Well, that's disturbing. That might be what was rattling. Is this small piece of grey broken plastic? So. So brightness, I might have to futz with that a little bit because I can't really see most of the things on that screen. But as I say, I've got a new screen. And for some reason I can't see the mouse pointer. Except, oh, there we go. The disk contains test disk. ADFS test copy. If the Acorn doesn't work out, will you hang it up for later like a walnut? I mean, it does work. If it, I don't really get that comment, but thank you. Alright. Okay, so kind of hard to use because either the screen is very unhappy. I can't. There we go. I can only just track the mouse, and I can't really see it. So this is the software that Acorn computers came with when you have them. It's in the ROM. Oh, walnut. Yes, very good, very good. No, you don't suck at wordplay. That is very good. I'm just not very awake yet. I haven't finished my tea yet. Okay. So I'm going to try and load Battery Manager. There we go. This is an exercise in patience. Actually, Battery Manager is already loaded because it's that little thing down at the bottom. It's loaded by default. Right. So at some point, oh, there we go. Estimate. Info. This is Battery Manager version 0.11, 27th of May 1992. So, yeah. Alright, so all the bits seem to work, broadly. The screen is atrocious. But I'm going to shut it down now. Does anyone have any questions? Because this is... Okay. Oh, incidentally, a little random thing. So Acorn mice have 3 buttons. Important to know. The middle one is your menu button, which is one of my favorite things that I miss, is the ability to just bring up a context menu wherever you are. And that's kind of come back with the right click, but it meant that you have 3 things you can do. Okay, there we go. That's where it is. Yeah, we might have to go with Control Shift F12 because I can't quite get there. So I can't see the mouse pointer down in that corner. Oh, the battery is depleted. Shut down. Yeah, it is. There we go. And that is the shutdown time on an Acorn. Now, I don't know how much memory size it is yet. Let's, it has the hard disk. I'm going to switch back to this. So, let me try plugging it in, and we'll do that. It's long enough since I've used an Archimedes that, or a RISC OS machine of any sort really, that that is not something I remember off the top of my head. I'm going to try and do this without knocking over the camera because I do actually have a cable attached to me for the mic because I thought you'd like good sound. All right. We have a green light. We have a green light, and here, in fact, we have a green and an amber light. I have no idea what the amber is. I'm guessing that's a battery charging one. Alright. Green is a green, as identified on this side. Oh, that's really nice. That's really nice. It has a display on the outside with LEDs, and then on the inside, those same LEDs with their labels. So, alright. Well, we'll try once more. I'm wondering if I can turn, excuse me, I'm wondering if I can futz with the contrast at all. Because there just didn't seem to be very much contrast. I think what I need for that is tweezers. I don't have any with me. Because today I was really not expecting it to power up, to be honest. Because he said that it was pretty intermittent. So, there's some disturbing cruft in that, which makes me think it might have some corrosion inside. But we'll have to have a look. That will not be today. Apparently, there is a request from Mastodon that I do the okay, so if I stand here, I can actually see things a lot better. Alright, so free memory, 4 meg, 3 meg, 3008 kilobytes. Here's what's free. Applications free, 3648K. There we go. And actually, if I stand here, let's bring you in a little. Yeah, I don't know why my camera actually, I've just realised, is sideways, but that's the way it is. So, I have to point that way to be the right way up for you. There we go. Oh, that's disconcerting. Okay. So, yeah, I'm really on the ball today. Thank you so much to Reflect the Sun and to Anthony Coates. Thank you. So, yeah, from this angle, the screen actually looks pretty good, apart from this strip down the edge. Now, I'm not sure if that's a screen fault or if that's a hardware problem, but I saw a brand new old stock screen for sale, and I thought, how often am I going to be able to buy one of those? So I bought one, just in case. Yeah, so basically it works. It's going to have to come apart so that I can try and install this. Would it run Linux? I can't remember if this can run Linux. It probably could run a Linux of its time. I know that Yggdrasil didn't come on it, or Yggdrasil. I think you could run Debian on it. Not sure. You could definitely do that on the RISC PC, but why would I? When RISC OS is on there, RISC OS is the best. I got into a stand-up fight with another woman at a university party about whether RISC OS or Windows was better, and I was right. Sorry, Hope. So yeah, so this is the device that I'm going to be putting in it to replace the hard disk, so I can store some data on there. Since I need to take it apart to do that and check various other things, I want to check it over and make sure there's no battery gunk leaking in it, because that is always sad. But astonishingly, it does work, which is quite exciting. I really thought I'd have a stone cold dead object that was really just an art piece. But I've always wanted one. I'm going to give it a good clean. So if anyone has any tips for any tips for cleaning the paint that they used on this, because it is actually a spray painted case as far as I can tell. I thought it's a mixture of metal, that's plastic, so I'm going to need to give that a clean. I'm going to let the battery charge for a bit. We'll see how that does. And then there will be another video which will either be on here. I don't know, we'll see what Nikki wants to do with it. It'll either be on here or it'll be on my personal channel, which has all of like 7 videos from 10 years ago on it. When I strip this and clean it and repair it, I hope, fingers crossed, me and repairing things. If you've ever seen that XKCD comic with the person trying to install a new operating system and ending up in shark-filled water, that is kind of how things tend to go with me. Sometimes they start well and end badly, but often they start badly and end badly. But I know I should be finishing my one of my many other projects, like, you know, putting the trim on that door frame behind me, or the other door frame behind me. Or perhaps more Transport Evolved-y, fixing Rebecca, which is definitely something I still want to do, but actually at the moment I physically cannot get into the garage because there's a Christmas tree, a stack of 4 tyres, and the stuff for tiling my wife's studio. So that's that. I'm not going to do anything else with it today. I don't have a mod player. I was tempted to put a mod player on a floppy disk, and then I realised I don't have a floppy disk, except I do now, which I am willing to write to. I also actually realised that I don't know if this USB floppy drive, which is definitely a very high quality device, I do not know, gosh, I didn't even bother to put the feet on right, whether my Mac will talk to it, so this could be a fun game. But, and the other thing that I will have to do is open this power supply up, because this power supply is, one, it's got quite a lot of dust in it, I can see that now. But the other thing is, most of these computers, you'll find the capacitors, the big chunky power supply capacitors, have kind of dried out, and they've lost the electrolyte in them has gone a bit sad, and they no longer can be trusted. I don't know whether this has any of the reefer smoke generators in it, which Acorn were very fond of using, the reefer capacitors. And often if you power on an old BBC micro, it will go bang and let out the magic smoke, and the magic smoke is stored in the reefer capacitor. Yeah. Are you thinking I should go steampunk? Maker of things? Because I could. I could go steampunk. I mean, I could definitely do that. Steampunk is definitely something that I aspire to. Alright. Well, that took about an hour, which is longer than I expected, but less long than it could have been. And this has been much more productive than I expected it to be, because don't tempt me with steampunk, because like I say, I really didn't expect it to work. To be honest, I was expecting to pull it out and for it not to boot up even. This is very confusing because I'm using the mouse backwards and upside down. Where is it? Let's go that way. Up, up. Ooh, 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 ooh. Oh, that was wrong. Huh. Now the icon doesn't say anything. I don't know whether it's full or empty. There is a disconcerting... There is a disconcerting fizzing noise coming from inside the screen casing. Alright. Alright. Any other quick questions before I go? I've got half a cup of tea, so you've got a few seconds left to ask questions before I duck out of here. And I'm going to quietly go and tile in my wife's studio. She doesn't know that I'm going to go do that today. So that is actually my plan. Which is funny, because I do not get made up for doing tiling. I'd just like to point that out. I do that for this stuff. But I am going to quietly go and do a bit of that. You might hear more about that later, if you're very unlucky. If you want exciting tiling master threads, you can join me on Mastodon on my personal account. Then you can be inspired and excited by endless tiling master threads. Tell you what I will do though. While this battery is charging and while I'm enjoying my Acorn bag, I used to have, for years and years, I went to an Acorn show, around the time the Risk PC came out, and I got a silver Acorn bag, plastic bag, slate tile in this case. We had some leftover porcelain from our bathroom, we used that up. There's some handmade Zelig tiles. And then there's also, thank you, Nikki, there is also some slate. And the slate, actually, you can kind of see the slate in the background. It's down here. This is slate there on the floor. Because, yeah, I laid all the time. If you can see something in this house, the chances are my wife and I built it. So we do a very quick unboxing of this because I want to know what's in here, which could be a challenge because I did not think to bring over a sharp object. So, excuse me for a moment while you know what I can use. You know what is a sharp object? It's not as sharp as a British plug. I mean, it's sharper, it's thinner, but not so pointy. All right. Let's see whether the screen arrived intact as well, shall we? Yes, subscribe, support the channel so I can buy more ancient computers and my wife will cry. No, I won't do that. Might buy a Chevy Rampside and convert it to an EV as my next project after I finish the miner. All right, so let's think about this for a second. We're going to shuffle my shiny, very, very dirty computer out the way. Alright, so we have this. Over here. Oh, it says the battery's full. That's probably a lie. Alright, oh, it comes with a... That was nearly very bad. Alright, I thought it was attached to that, and it is only sellotaped in at one end. So this is the replacement screen, which we will be replacing that one with. Hopefully it'll have a little bit more contrast. Yeah, Dave, that's what my wife says, is you have to finish that first. And then she also says, and then you have to sell another car. We can't have 4. Because apparently 4 cars is too many for 2 people. Interesting. Okay, well, there we go. There is a screen which is a brand new old stock 640 by 480 LCD, which is awesome. When you look at this, you realise just how far technology's come, because I've stripped down that Mac that is powering this several times, and you look at these, and I'm like, well, I can kind of see these components, although these little surface mount capacitors and resistors are not a huge amount smaller, but the chips I can actually solder that without taking the glasses off or using the magnifier, which is nice change. So this came from Fourth Dimension, who, incidentally, if you're looking for Acorn computer stuff, I've always gotten quite well with Fourth Dimension stuff, so they've always been lovely. In fact, to be honest, one of the things that appeals to me most about playing with Acorns again is how nice the community has always been, in my experience. I've always had a lovely time. Apart from the last Acorn show I went to, which was frankly very depressing, because that was around the time that Acorn was dying, and they just cancelled Phoebe, which was the second generation of PC. They just cancelled that project, and I was like, this is very depressing. I'm surrounded by people who know what we're doing is dying, so that's sad. All right, well, thank you, everyone. Thank you to everyone who supports us and supports the channel. I know this is a very random, very rambly video with an awful lot of technical problems, but I'm going to blame Google for them because they were nearly all Google related. And support the channel. It's been lovely to see you, and I think I'm going to tap out and go and tile now. So, bye-bye. Have a great rest of your day.